in order to find out what version of Chrome you have, you go into here and you go to help about Google Chrome, and you see the version is 83 right here. So that's the way you do it. Click this, and then I'm using Windows, so you click this, and extract the file. So that's, you click that and extract the file. So that's a way to get that information. To extract the file to whatever place you want. Now that everything's set up, now we can go to get the coding. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview of what's going to happen. We are going to get, what we're going to do is we're going to first go to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I'm going to get all this information right here, all the complete suggestions. And then we're going to click Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm going to go in and go to 3-day history, and then I'm going to go back 2 spaces. And this is like a beginner level course. I won't get too much in detail, but this is like a beginner level course. I'm a beginner myself, so yeah. Very basic stuff. We're going to go over loops, what classes are, things like that. So the first thing we're going to do, put this out of the way, is we are going to test, give you like a sneak preview of what's going to happen. Wisconsin. And you can see that all these things print out, all these counties and cities print out. And then the next thing we're going to do is going to go to Python, the second one, going to allow us to click it, goes through the forecast, it goes back and back, and does that automatically. So you don't need to like manually click the back button, and it saves time in the long run. So with that in mind, we're going to go in, and we're going to import some modules. Importing modules is a way to get like functionality in your code without writing a bunch of code, because there's people that have written like thousands of lines of code, and there's a way people's already written, instead of coding Selenium by yourself, you can import Selenium and import WebDriver from that Selenium. So that's the WebDriver is basically what I described earlier, is the engine behind the whole thing. Keys is basically like keyboard keys. By is locator, so locating elements, tags, things like that. WebDriver wait, which is basically it pauses the thing. It waits for an element to show up, and expected conditions is pretty obvious. And then import time is basically the amount of time it takes to run the output. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to comment this, and the path, this is my path, and the WebDriver we're using is Chrome. And so the next thing we're going to do is WebDriver that Chrome that path. So you're setting up the driver, and then we have the Chrome, and then we have, so that sets up the information for us. So it sets up the WebDriver for Chrome. So let's run this to make sure it works, make sure you don't have any errors, make sure that you run the code. You want to run your code pretty frequently so you can test it to see if you have any errors or not pretty early on, instead of like waiting until the last minute. So yeah, this works. We don't have National Weather Service website quite yet, so we have a blank page. So we go in, and then driver.get nationalweatherservice.com, weather.gov, which is basically it gets the website National Weather Service from the server, and it prints and print driver title. Now, driver title is the title of the national. If it's going to get this information right here, the National Weather Service. That's the title of this thing. Welcome to Python page objects. That's the title, and we should get National Weather Service as the output. So I'm going to run this code again. And we should get National Weather Service as the output. And you can see that it does. So next we're going to do is we are going to search find element by ID. So we're going to find the ID of input string, and essentially finding elements, you'd want to get to be as specific as possible. So ID would be the ideal choice, and then the next thing would be name, and then the next thing would be class. So it'd be like ID, and then if you can't find that, it would be name, and then you can't find that, it would be class. So, and where does input string come from? Well, in Google Chrome, there's a nifty little thing. You right click, hit inspect, and it allows you to see the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript of the browser. So you can see that we have input string over here, and that's why I chose input string over here. And then we're going to click this part. We're going to send keys, so basically Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're going to type in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we're going to return, because that's basically the enter key. Now, what happens if this doesn't run is that, because this is very important, because if that doesn't run, then what happens is that, show you, it adds to the existing text, and we don't want that. We want to click on it and then press Green Bay, Wisconsin, so we get like the results. So we're going to click this. Wisconsin. So there we go. And second to last thing, this basically is that it waits 10 seconds until the autocomplete suggestion loads. So what does that mean? Autocomplete suggestion, you want to use the inspect element to find out what that is. So you go in here, inspect, you can see autocomplete suggestion. And we want all the autocomplete suggestions. And how do you get all the autocomplete suggestions? We loop through these. And that's the next part right here. Now, let me explain loops for a second. Let me comment this out. So what a loop basically does, it allows you to print out a bunch of elements without doing a whole lot of work. So if I wanted to print out 10 numbers, I can do this. I can do it this way. But that would take a long time. If it was like 100 numbers or 1,000 numbers, that was like a really, really long time. It wouldn't be efficient. So what we would do is we go in here, and for number in range 1 to 11, what this basically means is that it goes from 1 all the way up to, we're not including 11. We print number. And it's going to give us, same as it's going to give us 1 through 10. 1, 0, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, for 1 in range that, print 1, for 2, print 2, etc. So with that, now that being said, we go in and we have for element and driver find elements by CSS selector. CSS selector that's a class when you have a dot there. So the class is autocomplete suggestion. You print the element, which is whatever the element is, the text, which means it prints off the text of that element, which would be over here. So we got that. And this is a quit. Basically, it means that you close the browser. So you go in here. And yeah, you get the get all the information here. So yeah, it can be very useful for gathering information from websites and things like that. So yeah, pause for a second to see if anyone has any questions.
So we don't have any questions yet. And just to remind everyone, if you have a question, you can access the chat in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. So, but yeah, no questions yet, Trent.
All right. Next part of the presentation, we're going to go to Green Bay, Wisconsin, go forward to 3-day forecast, and then we're going to hit back button. So what we're going to do is the first thing is we're going to uncomment this. The first part is pretty much the same thing. We're going to uncomment the modules. Go to weather.gov and put the value into the text box. So we input Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we're going to wait 10 seconds until autocomplete suggestion occurs, and then we're going to press enter. Because what happens is that it gets kind of finicky, because if you press, say we refresh this page. And if you press enter immediately and this doesn't show up, then it won't work. It won't print out. But you have to wait until the autocomplete suggestion shows up, and then it even enter, and then it goes to Green Bay, Wisconsin. So with that in mind, that's why you wait until the autocomplete suggestion shows up, and then you press enter. The next part is 3-day history. That is this right here. Basically making wait until 3-day history shows up, because it takes a while for load. May want to make sure that that shows up before we click on the element. And then that's link text, which is basically what the text shows. And we're going to do that. Click the link, which is right here, link that click. And then we're going to hit the back button right here. Then we're going to hit the back button right here. So we're going to go to the 3-day forecast, and we hit back twice. So this is basically another loop, and this is the same thing as driver.back and driver, and doing driver.back and driver.back again. But there's a phrase in code called dry, which means don't repeat yourself. So you don't want to put that twice in there. So what you want to do is do that thing, and it was basically we'll print back twice. So you go in and print the whole thing. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wisconsin, go in, press enter, your history, goes back and go back. And that's basically the procedural code part of the presentation. Next, we're going to look at the object. We're going to like a little bit of object-oriented programming. This would be like a quick overview. I won't go into too much detail. I'm pretty new at this myself, so I would have trouble explaining everything. So yeah, but I'll pause for another part to ask any other questions before moving on.
Yes, Trent. So Naomi had a question on if you had to do anything to close out of that initial pop-up that comes up. I think there was like a survey or something. Yeah, whatever that little box that shows up is.
Yeah, that happens occasionally. That part of the National Weather Service website. I think that's if I hit the quit button, driver.quit, it shouldn't it shouldn't. I should quit automatically even without the pop-up, I believe. Let me see.
But the pop-up doesn't like interfere with it being able to access the rest of the website. Is that right?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Okay.
So, because quit, I mean, the quit just quits the website, so it shouldn't happen. So, yeah. Any other questions?
I think that's it for now.
Okay. Okay, so the next part, we're going to go to python.org, and we are going to basically, what I did was just copy the, this is where the documentation for Selenium is, if those of you that don't know. And I'll have links at the end of the presentation, at the end of the PowerPoint. going to go back to the PowerPoint, and basically we have different information sections, and I'll explain each one as best as I can. So yeah, gonna get out of here, and we're going to go to Python CD unit test. Oh, this is basically what's called unit testing. It allows you to, it's like a vigorous way to look for errors without, manually having to look for errors yourself, because that involves human error. People mess up, and this allows you to more error proof, allows you to make it more foolproof that you can find something wrong with your website. And there's also a thing called PyTest, but unit test comes installed with Python, so I'm going to use this. The next thing I'm going to do is this involves like classes and things like that. So let me explain what classes are. Classes are essentially a blueprint. So let's say you have a class of a car. It's like an idea, so you have an idea or a blueprint of a car, but you don't have like an actual car. It's just like the idea of a car, kind of like a car factory. And then a car has attributes. A car has a color, and they have a size. So, and this is kind of like syntax in a way. So this it's kind of like this is kind of like syntax in a way, but try not to get too hung up on the syntax of the thing, but just explain that we have like car can have like a color and a size. A car also has functions, otherwise known as like methods if it's within a class, and that is a car can drive. It can turn too, and it can turn either left or right, and we can make arguments with that. We can turn like either left or right, and you can have directions as arguments. And another cool thing, a powerful thing is class inheritance, which means let's say you have a class of let's say you have a class of a motorcycle, and we inherit it from a car. Now we don't have to put in the color and size, because a motorcycle has color and size. So we don't have to put this again because we have already put it in here. So it's a way to save up time, to save up space in Python code. So it's a very powerful tool. Now, back a little bit, we have the idea of a car, and we have the characteristics of a car, we have the functions of a car, but we still don't have an actual car. So what we do is we go to, let's say, Toyota Camry, and this is called instantiation. Toyota Camry has a color of, say, white, and size is medium. And what we can do is you can call Toyota Camry, and if we hit the color here and we get the Toyota Camry color, that will give us white. It goes white, and then Toyota Camry size would give us medium. And then also what self is basically self.color, Toyota Camry.color, self.size, Toyota Camry.size. That's what self basically means. It's the object of the class. So with that being said, let's go on and try to run this thing. We are going to go to PyCon. Going to search for PyCon, and we're going to go there, click that, and then we're going to have these search results over here. And it will raise an exception if there's no results. So if we do this and see no results, what we can do as well is go in here. Let's go in here and test this part out first. Python. and test pass. Pass, and then if we go in and just put some random thing here, the test will fail. Give it a second. Yeah, random tells it failed, assertion error, no results found. So let me explain this part. This is the main part. This is the main part that's basically searches the thing. So I'm going to break this down into chunks rather than explain it one by one. Try to explain it best as I can. So this is basically sets up the WebDriver, sets it up in order for it to run the test. And then we have the actual test search, and then we close it. So this sets up and tear down happens every single time there is a test search. So if you were to have like another like test example 2, then what would happen is you would set it up, test go to here, and then tear down, and then go to setup, test example 2, and tear down. So that would be that. And to explain a little bit more, this one loads the main page. Check the words Python is in the title, is title matches, and I'll show you is this a class or a method? I think it's like a function. I'll show you how that checks the words Python in the title, and it is in the title. It's the main page. Click the Go button, which is here. Go button's here. Search results page, search results page. Basically shows search results, and assert is basically see if the result is found. If not, no results found. So assert is basically see if. So yeah, that's the main part of the main part. This is like 4 different pages, so there's the main part. Then we go to page, and there's a page for each class we're going to test. And we have search text elements. So the locator is Q. And what is Q? If you go here, text element, text element would be, go to here, go to inspect. Name is Q. So that's the locator is Q. The base page, which is the driver. And there's the main page, which inherits from base page, so you don't need to put the driver in there. And the search results page, which inherits with base page. So is title matches. Remember how it's a method. Remember how we got is title matches over here? Well, that is in main page, and we're trying to see if the Python appears in the text title. Then click the Go button and try to see it triggers the search. It clicks the Go button. Now you have a little star there. We have a little star there, and what does that mean exactly? We can go in here. There's something called list unpacking. Now, if you have like a function here that has 2 numbers, 1 and 2, this allows us to get 2 parameters. This allows us to have 2 parameters on here without having to put down 2 parameters. So, without doing the work of having 2 parameters on there. So, if we got rid of this function wouldn't work because it requires 2 parameters. Yeah, there's no value for argument 2. So, list unpacking allows us, because what happens is if we have the list unpacking right there, then it's like 1, 2. If we don't have the list unpacking, you don't have the list unpacked, then it's like 1, 2, and then you don't have anything here. So that's unpacking. All the 2 arguments here, main page locators, go button. The main page locators, the 2 arguments here is by ID and submit. Now that's the go button right here. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place, but we inspect, and you can see that the type, the name, all the IDs it may submit. So that's by ID submit. That's what the go button is. And yeah, that is yeah, that's what that means. So that clicks the go button, triggers the search, and goes in and searches the page, search results page, trying to see if the results are found. If there are no results found, and then if there's no results found, if there are no results found, if it's not in the page source. So we got that. Locators, we kind of went over this. This is where we locate pages, and this is kind of like this is basically like how we did pages from Selenium. So it doesn't have, so it has some stuff that all the search results locators should come here. So I'm guessing that if you were to search for PyCon, the locator in this page, in this case, would be like highlighted or something like that. So that would be the locator. And then you have element right here. Element, this is probably the hardest to explain. Is a base page class that is initialized on every page object class. What that means is on every page object, we have a class. So with that, with the first thing we have is set. We have definition of set, which means sets the text to the value of supplied. Sets the object to the value. So it would be like, for example, it would be like locator to Q, like we did earlier. That's the object. That's the value. And then it returns the text of the specified, and then we get the text of the specified object. Not sure what owner is, but the object would be like locator or something like that, and we return like the value of that. And so what we have here, this is an lambda is an anonymous function, and we're waiting 100 seconds until the locator shows up, and we clear the value. And then we send keys. So yes, that's the text of the value supplied. So there's that, and so it gets the text of the specified object. So there's that. Yeah, that's basically the overview of the object-oriented programming part, and it's a little bit higher level. I don't even now. I've spent like a couple of weeks understanding this, and I don't get all this information. So, but I just trying the best I can. So, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, there was a couple questions. Pang asked if you could go through your drop-down menu example one more time.
Okay. No, from National Weather Service?
Yep.
Okay. Give me 1 second. So drop-down menu example, Green Bay, Wisconsin. We are searching for this information right here. And each element here, the class is autocomplete suggestion. And you want to get all the autocomplete suggestions over here. So in order to get all the autocomplete suggestions, we would have to go in and kind of loop through all of them, or like iterate through all of them. So the element would be autocomplete suggestion, and the text would be Green Bay, Wisconsin, or like Green Bay, Wisconsin, neighborhood of Green Bay, Wisconsin, like, and hold on. And so this would be element.text, the next element.text, the next element.text, the next element.text, and it iterates through all of this till we get to the end. And that is basically a loop. So yeah, I don't know if that explained it well enough. But yeah, that's basically how that works.
Thanks for that. And then Naomi also had a question. She's working on a web scraper right now, and she's wondering if Selenium allows the user to see what parameters are being passed into the HTTP request.
That I don't know about. You have to research that. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, thanks for that. And that's all the questions for now.
While you can't see the individual parameters to the request, you can actually log the HTML, the requests and the replies going back and forth. So she can fully see what's going on.
With Selenium, you mean?
Yes. You need to turn one of the loggers on, and it'll log what's going over the network. You can see all the response codes, the headers, absolutely everything on the connection.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, I think that's all the questions for now, Trent.
All right, I'll start showing my screen.
Did anyone else have any other questions? I think Matt had a question for the end. Did you want to go ahead, Matt?
Your microphone's off, I think.
He's asking if you have any experience with Beautiful Soup and how does it compare to Selenium?
Oh, I don't know anything about Beautiful Soup. It sounds beautiful, though.
It's a cool word for a library, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Is there any other questions for Trent?